We are picking up our work with the quadratic formula today, and we are actually going to use it all the way through to solve problems and get some practice with that. So to do this, I do want to go through one example. On your note sheet, you'll see on the left-hand side, we have this example here. Let's write it down. The 4x squared plus 8x plus 3 equals 0. And we're going to make some comments as we work over on this side by the notes on the right side. So if you want to go ahead and pause the screen and practice setting this formula up, please go ahead and do so. Remember, we're finding A, B, and C, and we're rewriting it in our quadratic formula, which is listed at the top of your notes. But let's go ahead and start identifying what our coefficients are. So our A coefficient, B coefficient, and C, they're the numbers that line up with our variable or with our different terms. So in this case, A is equal to 4, B is equal to 8, and C is equal to 3. So that's identifying the coefficients. That's pretty easy so far. Now we're going to actually place it into our quadratic formula. And again, we are just simply rewriting that quadratic formula, replacing A, B, and C with the numbers that we have. So we get x is equal to negative b, so negative 8 here, plus or minus the square root of b squared, that's 8 squared. A lot of us forgot the square symbol there. Minus 4 times a, which is 4, times c, which is 3. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I extend that square root sign a little further. And all of this is over 2 times a, so in this case 2 times 4. Now let's kind of just annotate our notes on the right hand side real quick so we can come back to this and see what's happening. We found the coefficients first. So I'm going to write coefficients on the right hand side. Then we set up our formula. Okay, now we actually go through and start simplifying everything that we have here. So on the right hand side, I'm going to say start to simplify. And let's start doing that over here. So we'll get x is equal to the negative 8 stays the same. We can't change that at all. Plus or minus, we're going to save until the very end. We can start simplifying everything under the square root, right? 8 squared is 64. And then we have subtracted by 4 times 3. So that would be 48. And divided by 2 times 4 gives us 8. And let's do one more step here, and then I'm going to erase my screen, and you guys can keep working downwards, but we'll have x is equal to negative 8 plus or minus, and let's simplify this 64 minus 48 here, the square root of 16 all over 8. Okay, and so obviously I ran out of space here on my slides. You have plenty of space down on your worksheet still, so I'm going to pause my screen, erase here, and rewrite this final step. This x equals negative 8 plus or minus square root of 16 all over 8. I'm going to rewrite that at the top and restart here, so bear with me. Okay, so we're left with this now. We have nothing to simplify until after we simplify that square root. So let's make another note here. Okay, we want to take care of the square root here. So let's do that. The square root of 16 is 4. So let's rewrite it. X equals negative 8 plus or minus. So I'll do that real quick. Plus or minus 4 all divided by 8. Now here's when we handle this plus or minus sign. Okay, we have all numbers figured out, and we want to just take care of that plus or minus sign there. And we can do that by splitting our function. So now we're going to have two different solutions that we carry out. We're going to have x equals negative 8 plus 4 divided by 8 or x equals negative 8 minus 4 divided by 8. So on our right-hand side, let's add a quick comment that we are splitting up our formula here. And we're going to go back and we're just going to solve this both ways. So negative 8 plus 4 divided by 8 gives me, that will be negative 4 divided by 8. So in that case, x is equal to negative 1/2 or negative 0.5 if we want to use a decimal. Or if we work through the right-hand side here where we subtracted 4, x would be equal to negative 12 divided by 8. Okay, and in this case, that would be a negative 1.5. Those are our two answers there. Okay, x can either be negative 0.5 or x can be negative 1.5. That is all we have for notes today, is working through this quadratic formula one time. And really, this is something that the more we practice, the better we're going to be at it. So at this point, slide onto the practice problems, complete some of these on back.